Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lupa and I'm super excited for today's video. We have a special guest here today joining us on this video. She is not really here, but she will be participating and I'm really excited. I'm also going to be doing the continuation of this video on her channels. So what we're going to be doing here is a Q&A. Mine are going to be mostly based on differently abled people with disabilities. I know that's starting to become a word that people start no longer using, but Daisy and I are comfortable using the word disability, so you might be hearing that quite a few times in this video. So how about we have you introduce yourself, Daisy, and talk a little bit about your own channel.
Hi guys, my name is Daisy. My YouTube channel is Daisy Rosales, and what I will be covering on it is my life being visually impaired, but also being in the LGBTQ+ community. And it will have different videos that include advice videos. Any questions that you guys might have, I will answer them in separate videos if they take long, or just a Q&A just like this video. But I do want to make my channel not just educational and inspirational, but I do want to make it a fun for not just me but you guys as well, so you guys get some entertainment out there. So I will be doing challenges, probably will be doing questions with my friends to see like who knows me better, which is one of the videos that I just came out with a couple weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to this collab though.
I honestly, with my personal experience, I don't think that is true. I know that we do rely on other senses a little more, but I don't think our senses, sorry, I said that wrong, are even more sensitive. So yeah, let's hear what Daisy has to say.
Yes, our senses are slightly heightened depending on where you are on the scale of visual impairment, or just overall in general. If you have another disability, wherever you lack in one sense, it'll get heightened in another sense, only because that's the fun thing about our brains and how they work, is if you lack in one area, you can gain in another area possibly. Now, this does not mean that we are superhumans or supernatural or anything, but we do get that extra hearing, if anything. I'm super sensitive when it comes to touch and when it comes to smell.
What I think he was trying to say in this question was the audio description, where they have a narrator describing what's going on. So that's how I'm going to be answering this question. So for that, most of my life I did not use it. It was not until maybe 2017, around there, when I started using it on Netflix. Oh, actually, I started using it on Hulu. So yeah, I prefer it this way, even though I did enjoy my family's descriptions. A lot of the times they were very hilarious. They would always struggle to describe something, but I prefer it because they're more descriptive and more simplified than a family member would do it. And I didn't know, you guys, that you can actually ask for a device at the movie theaters that will describe to you in headphones. So I'm back a little later. I totally forgot to answer the first question to this part. If I need help anywhere around the house or wherever, like if I'm inside, definitely people. But if I'm walking around, I'm trying to like find the door or something, I prefer this little guy to help me. He is trained to help me, but he's my guide dog, so he aids me in crossing one, like just staying in a safe path to point A to point B. So I hope that answers your question.
I personally prefer people help me rather than a service animal, like a guide dog. at least currently. I do have remaining vision left, so a guide dog would be okay for me to use, and I would feel comfortable with it for the future when I do go blind. I am prepared for it, but I do prefer having people help me or aid me because I can actually have a conversation with them and let them know what I actually need. With an animal, such as a guide dog, I can't tell them, okay, I need lettuce, and they'll take me to the lettuce, because food is food and they'll see everything as food. They know the different commands of front, heel, all of those commands, but I can't tell them a specific item and for them to help me or be like, okay, it's on aisle 2. So I do use audio description. I do like it. I've gotten used to it a lot more in more recent days, now that I can't really see detail to the full capacity that I used to. But I will admit there are times that I don't like it, only because it does get in the way of being able to hear what the actual characters in the movie or TV show that you're watching are saying. And then sometimes I'll get confused, or I'll be like, oh, what did I miss?
So, of course, for the driving, I can only speculate and imagine on what, I can say, because I don't drive. I'm totally blind. I don't know what the law cutoff for vision is, so I can't say because I don't drive. But as for your first part, I can't see in either direction, so that is something that I struggle with all the time, especially because I don't know if they're talking to me. But if I know they're talking to me and I know they're on that side, then I just say, oh, are you talking to me? And if they say yeah, then I answer, and if they say no, then I say, oh, sorry, and it sounds easier than it actually is.
So I as well can only see out of my right eye. My left eye is no longer in my eye socket anymore. I got it removed roughly 3 years ago now. I cannot drive, so I cannot tell you what to do in that situation. As long as you feel comfortable and you are being careful as you stated, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't feel safe or you don't feel comfortable, maybe try something new. But I don't really know how to fully answer that question. As for when you are walking, you could do what is called scanning, which is you use your right eye to look to the left and look to the right. I don't know what your peripheral vision is like, but for the most part, I'm so used to only be able to seeing out of my right eye that I do scan here and there, but I mainly look what's on my right side, and if there's nothing, if it's a pretty big enough space, then I don't really worry about what's on my left side. I just try to focus on how much space I have from my right side, and I could just continue walking there, and I know that I'm safe because there's nothing in my path.
I think when we're talking about all aspects of my life, the only place where it really has affected me is in it makes traveling a lot harder. It makes it a challenge, definitely. I'm not able to get up and say, yo, I want to go to the store, get in my car and drive there and get what I need and come back. I actually have to plan a day before. I have to call access. I had to struggle with getting the proper times, and it might sometimes mean I get there too early, or I have to spend more time at the store. And then I have to get there, go to the customer service, ask for help. And it's just a long process just to do something as simple as picking up eggs and milk at the store. As for traveling, even though I have been trained in traveling and walking, crossing streets, taking the bus, it's still a lot of pep talking before I do it because it's very terrifying. I think that's really the only ways that I can think that it has affected me, besides school, which is a whole different mess of challenges. But I talked about those in my winter classes video, so go watch it.
My disability has impacted me in the sense that I feel I'm pretty strong, and that's not to gloat or anything. I just feel that I've gone through so much and I doubt myself a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm still going and I'm still trying to push as much as possible. And I really want to show others that are just like me or with other disabilities that it is possible to live a normal life as much as possible, that people might try to knock you down a peg, but you can always get back up and you can do it. You don't need to prove anything to other people. You just need to do it for yourself and live your life to the fullest. And I feel like that's what my disability has given to me, that mindset that I can keep pushing and that there's going to be barriers, but you can push your limitations further and further.
I honestly don't think disability has anything to do with it. I personally don't date. That's a personal choice. But at first, of course, it wasn't. I'm just a very socially awkward person. I'm also very shy. So if I can't make a friend, how can I like go on a date or something? I don't know how to have see, there you go. Perfect example. I don't know how to have a conversation. Like, I'm not interested in what people are interested around my age or older. You know, it's all about social media. It's all about, you know, different movies. I don't have that background of saying, oh, do you like Star Wars? I don't like Star Wars and I have never watched Star Wars. My dislikes and likes are very small. I'm a very simple person, so to have a conversation and be able to carry on a conversation is quite cringing. I think that would be the best word to use. So yeah, I don't think really disability has to do with it. I know that a lot of people in the visually impaired and blind community do date within that community. But I believe that you're supposed to, that you should be confident and first of all love yourself before you are able to get into a relationship and have the ability to love someone else. I believe that if you don't, you will have a toxic relationship, because you're a very, very toxic relationship, because you'll always be thinking, oh, you know, they don't love me because of this or that, or they are going to leave me for someone who's more funnier, who's more interesting, who's more outgoing than I am, or, you know, whatever, you know, the thing that you're not confident about. I believe men and women should be confident within themselves and love themselves before they move on to loving another person, because, or, you know, even if it's just dating, you have to be confident within yourself and believe that you deserve, you know, to have fun and to have people that respect you and treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. So yeah, it's not just I don't think it's has to do with a lot of disability. It has to do more with the person themselves.
Having a disability has made it a little harder to date, only because people assume that people in the blind community can only really date people in the blind community, and that's not always true. I have dated in the blind community before. It was never an issue, but because we seem kind of small depending on the areas that you live in, it is a little difficult, because everybody has either dated everybody or everybody knows everybody, and you hear things and you just never get to know somebody for yourself. But other people who don't have a visual impairment or don't have a disability, they kind of stay away from us because they think that we're helpless and that they're, in a sense, our babysitters, which is not true. I've had experience where I have told somebody that I'm visually impaired, and they end up leaving and ghosting me. But there are those people out there who stick by you the whole entire time, but just only want to be friends, which that's okay too. But yes, it is just a tad bit difficult to be in the dating world with a disability.
I'm not sure what you mean by this question. I know that I've actually heard stories of people that are in relationships, or that are like dating and stuff like that, and there have been people where they actually find people that think people with disabilities is they take advantage of them, or it's like a fetish. But desexualizing them, I've never heard of that.
It does desexualize us, because it is a little disappointing that everybody thinks that we're fragile, all because they see is the outside, but they don't get to know what's on the inside and what you are or who you are as an individual.
When it comes to my disability, I've been living with it since I was 5. And I've been lucky enough to be able to see. I was high partial for 7 years after I started losing my sight. And then I was low partial for about, I would say, another 6 years. And then that's when I went from low partial to only light perception, and then it took about a year to a year and a half to go completely blind. So I've been all over the spectrum of like vision, and even though sometimes I do wish I would be able to see again, that thought only comes once in a blue moon, and I honestly don't think I would change anything, because if I change something, then who would I be? I'm not saying that my disability is who I am, but my disability has made me who I am today, and is probably going to continue helping create the person that I'll be in the future.
If there's anything that I would want to change about myself, is to be able to see without my glasses. Like, if I could have the magnification that is in my glasses just be in my eyes, that'd be great. I have never been one to like glasses too much. Not because I think that I look weird in them or because they're terrible or anything. I've just personally never liked glasses. I like being able to have my face free and open.
This is actually a really good one. Because the biggest thing that when I'm meeting someone or I'm greeting someone is if I should extend my hand. I do, I tell myself, reach out for the handshake, because they're probably holding out for you and they don't tell you and they get awkward about it. And there's other times like this that always happens to me. I stick out my hand to go shake, and they're like, oh, one moment, I have a lot of stuff in my hands. And they're like scrambling around to like set their coffee cup and their papers or whatever they're holding, So it's always very, very, very awkward to meet somebody new or greet them, because I don't know if they're holding something in their hands. And I can't see to follow those social cues, physical cues on what to do next.
Meeting strangers has never been an issue for me to greet them or meet up with them or anything, only because I do have remaining vision left, so I can see them. But I do normally prefer that they tell me their name so that I know it's them. And that's pretty much all I would really like to know. It's like, hi, I'm such and such. And from there we can continue to have a conversation. And that's really all it takes, just for me to know your name. And eventually I will be able to pick up on what your voice sounds like, and after that I'll probably be able to know that it's you whenever you come up to me and say just a couple words. Normally I do let them know that I'm visually impaired ahead of time when we're making plans to meet up, and I'll say, do you mind meeting me at, I don't know, Starbucks, and we'll meet right at the door, and can you please tell me your name? Or I won't even tell them that. I'll just be like, do you mind meeting me at the curb? And we'll go from there.
So one of the biggest things that I always like to mention is that just because we're blind or visually impaired does not mean we don't speak or we don't hear, or that we have some sort of intellectual disability. That's not always the case. I think because, you know, Helen Keller is a very famous individual, I believe that people think that we are also deaf or blind. Well, that's been my experience, at least. Deaf or mute, I mean, sorry. But it's not the case. We are just like everyone else. We just can't see. Just imagine yourself blindfolded, and you know, the way you think, the way you are, you know, the way you process things doesn't change because it's your vision that has gone, or that you never had to begin with. It's not your you know, your mental capacity or your hearing or your voice box. So that's what I would say. We're just like everyone else, just with something different. Everyone's different, and that's what makes us different, I guess.
I would probably want to tell people who don't have a disability, so able-bodied people, that it's okay to ask questions. Sometimes it's the way you say it. A lot of people don't really like the pity voice or don't like certain attitudes. Not that you intend to sound that way or it comes off the wrong way and you didn't mean it, but a lot of individuals do get upset. Not me personally. If you ever meet me, I enjoy answering questions no matter how you sound, the way you say it. I will try to get to understand you and what you were trying to say. I never want to stop somebody from knowing or getting an answer to their questions or their thought processes. It's just not who I am. So make sure, if you want to ask a question, try finding someone who's willing to answer it, or ask permission first if you can ask any question and see what they say from there. But we don't always need assistance. It's better to ask before you grab onto us as well.
Okay, you guys, sorry if the angle is totally different now. I accidentally dropped my phone. That's it, you guys. Thank you, Daisy, for joining us. I can't wait to collaborate with you again. So don't forget to go over to Daisy Rosales' channel. I have her link down in the description. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. And I'll see you next time. Bye.